Hello everyone, and thank you for joining me here today. In today's video, we're going to be going over the wild leaks for the Xbox Games Showcase coming on June 11th, comparing that to exactly what Phil Spencer said on the Kinda Funny Games Xcast, and looking at some of the leaked images and speculating what might actually be real and what's most likely fake. So shortly after the launch of Redfall, Phil Spencer went on to the Kinda Funny Games Xcast and was asked about games that we've heard about previously but haven't heard much about since then. And he dropped little hints that they're going to be in this game showcase along with some new things. So let's go ahead and hear what he had to say.
The common themes that I hear is I don't know enough about things that you've announced in the past, like even more specifically going back to 2020. And I'll just run down a quick list of it. Avowed, Perfect Dark, Everwild, which is something we really don't know that much about. Fable, State of Decay 3, Contraband. Obviously, we've seen a little more in Hellblade 2. You know, we have studios like In Exile and Compulsion Games that we know are working on things, but we haven't seen any real updates on that. So
I'm very enthusiastic about Showcase. We're going to announce some things that people haven't seen, some new games. We're going to give updates to some of the things that were on your list.
Now that'll bring us to our first leaked image here. It is on a giant monitor with Xbox Showcase and Confidential cut off. It also has text at the bottom, basically stating that all the parties agree that the provided image is confidential and shall not be shared, disclosed, or reproduced. The text does get a little bit blurry, but you can tell there at the end it says June 11th, 2023. Now the Kinda Funny Games Xcast host did talk about Avowed, Fable, State of Decay 3, Everwild. Those are on this list, and Phil did say that some of the games that he brought up would be shown there, as well as new things. Now, the new things here, of course, are State of Decay, Hollow Knight, Silksong, which is actually spelled Slicksong, so this really casts a huge shadow of doubt over this image being real. Overdose, which is Kojima's rumored game, Everwild, Quake, Hellblade 2, Scalebound, which was a game that was canceled almost 10 years ago, Contraband, Killer Instinct, Wolfenstein 3, Forza, which if you look at Forza Motorsport, it says that it's being made by Playground Games, which is actually incorrect. It is Turn 10 Studios. Playground Games is supposed to be working on Fable. You have Midnight, Fallout New Vegas 2, which is a huge stretch personally. Halo Tatanka, which I don't believe is going to be shown. Halo 3 Anniversary is also something that I do not believe even exists or is going to exist for a while. Halo 3 Anniversary, it's not celebrating any specific anniversary if it were to come out this year. And they've pretty much already made Halo 3 Anniversary that if this is real, that leads me to a ton of questions like, what are they going to do with the multiplayer? Are they just remastering the campaign? The game already looks and runs amazingly in the Master Chief Collection, and the multiplayer is the most popular multiplayer in the MCC, so I doubt that they would make Halo 3 Anniversary with its own dedicated multiplayer and have it basically cannibalize the Master Chief Collection. That just doesn't make sense unless they're just using the Master Chief's Halo 3 multiplayer and redoing the campaign. Again, I don't think this is real. And then, of course, Cyberpunk 2077 DLC with 3 months of exclusive time. Now, that, if at all, could possibly be something that I might see happening. The only reason being is the animosity between CDPR and PlayStation, with them having pulled Cyberpunk completely off of their online store during its launch problems. But nonetheless, I really don't think that this image is real just because of the multiple issues with it. Hollow Knight Silksong being one of them, and them having the wrong developer for Forza Motorsport. Now moving on to our next image, you have Starfield, which we know is going to be there. I can't tell what the ARA thing is. I can't exactly make out that text. Again, it's blurry. This is on a monitor that is taken at an angle which is crooked. You have Flintlock, Overdose, which is something again that is showing back up. We know that is the Kojima game. Lies of P. I have heard that they do have a relationship with the studio making that, and that it is a possibility that it could show up here. Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty, which again shows up in this second image. Again, I could see that happening, them being here with their issues with Sony. You have the Hollow Knight Silk Song, which is spelled properly this time. And I mean, that is a possibility. It did show up before. I don't think, though, that it would be an exclusive to Xbox, even for a little bit. I believe the game sold way better on the Nintendo Switch than it did on any other platform. You have Sea of Thieves. It looks like it says Season 10, which, again, that would not shock me if Sea of Thieves was there. Age of Empires, Fable, which we're going to talk about here in just a moment, so stick around for that. Hellblade 2, which is a very good possibility because we have seen some things on it in previous showcases. Winged, which I don't know what that is. That looks like something written in the text from Grounded, so maybe it is a sequel or an add-on or DLC or a new game from that studio, but the font of the way that it's spelled does look like something that is associated with that. You have Avowed, Exoprimal, which I believe is going into Game Pass day one. Jet Set Radio, which it has been confirmed that they are doing a reboot for that. And you have Dead State Drive, it looks like. Replaced, haven't heard of that. Forza Motorsport, which of course we know will probably be there. Halo Infinite Wrath of Iridius Season 4, which I wouldn't put it past them with a trailer there. And Persona 3 Portable Remake. This is something that I have seen people have in contention because the rumor is that it's just Persona 3 Remake. But I wouldn't put it past them to be remaking it from the portable version, so it would be P3P Remake. But nonetheless, this image to me seems a little bit more realistic. It doesn't have any misspellings, and there are things on here that I have not heard about. And of course, that is exactly what Phil Spencer said. Some of the games on the list that the Kind of Funny Games host talked about will be there, and they will talk about new things. This does have all of that, things that the gentleman did speak of, and of course, new things that we don't know what they are. Now, looking here, Xbox tweeted this just recently, and this, to a lot of people, feels like a huge, huge Fable tease. The music that plays during this commercial, which we'll watch here in a second, sounds exactly like music you would hear in Fable. For a minute, I thought it was just Fable music, but I guess that it is not any official music. But let's go ahead and take a look at it here. The energy and expectations for this Xbox game showcase, I feel, are super high. I myself do have somewhat of an expectation that this is going to be a big show. I've said previously that Xbox can always put on a good showcase. Not too many of their showcases have been what I would consider bad. It's just that it seems that every showcase, they're always saying, oh, next year's going to be the year. Next year's going to be the year. Next year's going to be the year. And they've shown a lot of CG trailers. It is time to show gameplay, and it's time to put out release dates for these games that these studios have been working on for, at this point, 5+ years. But what do you think? Do you think any of these leaked images have even the slightest possibility of having any truth to them? Go ahead and let me know in the comments section down below. If you guys are new around here, please consider subscribing. I upload videos weekly, and I also stream here as well. But until next time, everyone, I'd like to thank all of you for joining me, and I'll see you guys in the next video.